Right, everybody, welcome back to RAUKA. Thank you so much for your company this morning here on the show. We're so grateful for all of you. If you're just tuning in, my name is Joyce Omonti Wahiga. Santeni Sana once again for your company. As promised, today we're going to have a conversation. We've been letting you know about an event that's happening here in Nairobi next weekend. That's the 18th of November on Saturday, brought to you by Hot 96 FM, Citizen TV, ourselves here at Gospel Sunday, Odelia Events, and that is Hillsong London live in Nairobi. And right now, calling in from London, we have Jay Cook, who is a worship leader right there at Hillsong London. Good morning, Jay. Thank you so much
for being
a part of the show. We've woken him up so early. It's the time there is actually 4:30 a.m. So thank you very much. That's called RAUKA in Swahili. It means to rise up very, very early. And so we certainly do appreciate you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Great. So, Jay, tell us a little bit about worship ministry and really what does worship mean to you, and how did you find yourself doing this now?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, if we think worship is definitely more than singing songs in an event or a Sunday, but it's a huge part of what we've come to know worship to be, and it plays a really important part of what worship is, I think, especially when we gather together in churches, in conferences, all kinds of events. But I've been involved in worship within a church for over 20 years. I've been part of Hillsong for 23 years now in London.
Wow.
And pretty much kind of done worship for that whole time. I've been worship leading for that amount of time too. And so for me, it's played a really important part. I remember I've grown up in church and would go along to different kinds of events and conferences and just see something powerful when it comes to worship and think. And it inspired me to want to be part of that and, do better at that when it comes to music, practicing, all that stuff, so I can actually have a skill and a craft that I can contribute within that sphere. But I love worship, and I love what worship does, how it gathers people together, gathers people from all nations, and you don't necessarily need to love the music, but because we're not gathering around music, we're actually gathering around Jesus. Right. And that is the primary function of what worship is we worship Jesus. We're not worshiping a band or a specific singer or even just the songs. Worship is about Jesus.
Wow, that's amazing. And, speaking of 20 plus years in ministry, there's many worship leaders here in Kenya, many worship ministers as well. What do you think has kept you that consistent? What sort of encouragement would you have to share to those who, oftentimes the journey is not necessarily that easy. There's lots of challenges, temptations, struggles that come, our way. What would you encourage them with as far as just keeping their eyes focused and staying consistent?
Yeah, I mean, part of it is sometimes you just have to make the decision to do something even when you don't feel like doing it. That's kind of part of what consistency and part of what faithfulness really is even if I don't feel like doing this morning, I'm still going to do it because I know it's the right thing to do. Whether that's, you reading your Bible, whether it's going to church, whatever, there's a consistency that is actually really healthy about doing something even when you don't feel like it. Because let's be honest, like if being healthy was just about doing it when you feel like it, not many of us would probably be that healthy. We'd probably not go to the gym and not exercise because we don't always feel like doing it, but there's actually it builds health into our lives in doing these things, even when we don't just feel like it. Because if we only worship led when we feel like it, then everything is based around what we want to do, rather than our worship being about who God is and what He has done. Otherwise, we kind of can get quite self-centered around that. And there's something good about being disciplined enough to make a choice even when you don't feel like doing it.
Right.
The Bible, the Psalms, there's so many times where it says, I will sing, I will bless the Lord. I don't think David, when he wrote those Psalms, felt like doing it all the time, but he recognized who God is. And actually, even when I don't feel like it, God is still worthy of worship. He is still worthy of praise.
Right. That's great. And I think it touches really well on a scripture we've been reflecting on this morning on the show, 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 18, which talks about fixing our eyes on not what is seen, but on what is unseen, because the things that are seen are temporary, but the things that are unseen are eternal. And so I think that's a good way to tie that in as well. But of course, we know Hillsong in general, Hillsong Global and Hillsong London, you guys have, huge concerts that you do. There's so much that goes into it musically, production-wise. Could you give us just a little bit of a glimpse, really, of what it's like to write the songs that you do, to put them together and to package them, to share them in concerts, and to finally, publish them as well?
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of work for all songwriters involved. A lot of work that goes in throughout the whole process, from the beginning to finishing the songs, to recording, whether that's in a live album context or a studio album. There's many people involved, and sometimes those processes are easier. Sometimes they're a bit more arduous and actually a lot harder work to find the right things. Sure. When it comes to lyrics, it's about there's a real wrestle with finding the right lyrics for the songs. They don't always come easily in flow. There's a real wrestle in finishing a song to bringing something that often the writers will feel is worthy of bringing forward.
Yeah.
But when a song is done and when it's released, and it's not about releasing the song, but it actually is about putting a tool in people's hands that helps people to worship. Mm-hmm. That's really the ultimate goal of all the songs that come out, is just giving people tools, giving people language to sing. That we aren't always able to come up with using our own words.
Right. Wow. And so next weekend, for the first time in Kenya, I believe Hillsong London will be here in Nairobi. You guys have been to, I think, at least one other African country. But tell us a bit about what people can expect next weekend. We have a huge audience that watches this show. This show, of course, being one of the sponsors of this event. Just tell people a little bit of what they can expect next weekend.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we are so excited to be coming to Kenya. I've wanted to come to Kenya for so many years now.
Yeah.
So I'm so excited that it's finally happening. But you know what, people are going to have a great night, and they're going to have a great night, not just because the music, but it's going to be a great night because people come together. But people can definitely expect to hear many of the songs that they know and love that have come out from Hillsong over the years. Won't maybe not get to do all of them because there's a lot of songs. We only have a window of time.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a great night. It's going to be a fun night. I'd say come ready to put your dancing shoes on for some of those moments. Come ready to have a bit of a dance and jump around. But you know what, we're just gonna have an amazing time in the presence of God. We do many of these nights, but there's always something fresh that we believe for that specific night, for that specific city. And this will be no different. We're going to believe that God would move in such a unique and powerful way. He knows the people are coming. He knows the work that he needs to do in people's lives. And there is going to be something so powerful about when we come together, not just individuals, but coming together to worship. and fix our eyes on Jesus. And but we're so excited. The team is really excited. They're definitely fast asleep right now in bed. We've got a few days before we fly out.
Sure.
But you know what? We can't wait.
Awesome. Well, I have a checklist of a couple things and some tips for you. Of course, King Charles was here recently and we heard him speaking some Swahili. So you need to keep up with the king, okay? So you need to
I will do my best.
Yes, you need to at least be able to say mambo, which means hi, and asante.
Yep, mambo.
And asante, which means thank you.
Asante.
Yeah, there you go.
Mambo and Asante.
Yeah, at least remember those two so that you can keep up with King Charles. And then make sure when you're here, they have to give you a taste of ugali, okay? It's our staple food.
I've heard about this.
Yes.
Someone has told me about this. Yeah, it's on the list.
And if you're not vegetarian, nyama choma, they need to get you some really good meat.
Okay.
Yeah.
We will definitely be doing that.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jay. It's been a pleasure talking to you. And we're excited for you guys to be here as well. Thank you once again for waking up so early. God bless you. And travel safely here to Kenya.
Thank you, Joyce.
All right. Ciao. All right, everybody. We've been talking to Jay Cook there, who is the worship leader over at Hillsong London. They're getting ready for Hillsong London live here in Nairobi. That's going to be a worship experience next week, Saturday, the 18th of November at Carnival Grounds from 8 p.m. Once again, brought to you by Citizen TV, Hot 96 FM, Odelia Events, Gospel Sunday. And so you don't want to miss out on that. It's going to be a great, great night. But with that, let's jump back straight into the show. This being Hymn Sunday, we're going to have Florence Muredi joining us in just a little bit. Keep it locked. This is RAUKA.